Hello, all of you Vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Vulcar Warrener, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This is the second most voted for vehicle this week, coming in with a dozen even votes. Don't forget that you can vote for the vehicles that you want to see tested and will it off-road by clicking on the link in the description down below. Speaking of that voting, it's kind of a weird thing. My viewership is way up on Will It Off-Road, but voting is way down, which is disappointing. I mean, I could always just use the cars, I don't mind. Plus, there's been 1,400 total votes. A lot of cars that have like 2 and 3 votes, and you know what? We can work through all of those, no problem whatsoever. But I really do like featuring the stuff that I know that you want to see in the video. So make sure you hit up that link. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't ask for an email address. Nothing like that. It's completely anonymous. I know the link may look a little odd with the Google shortened link. But that's just because the real link is a mile long. But that Google shortened link just takes you to a Google form. That's all it is. There's nothing nefarious there. Anyway, the Vulcar Warrener. Just hit a hiker. I almost looked like I went out of my way on that one, but I didn't. Because that's one of the issues with the Vulcar Warrener. We'll get to that. This is a lovely little late 60s, early 70s Nissan / Volvo inspired car. Has a lot of Nissan classic Skyline look to it, especially the bumpers, the front and the back end. But the body shape really has a lot of Volvo in it. And that's true for both Vulcar cars that are in the game, this and the Ingot. The Ingot has a lot of Nissan, JDM wagon, and then a Volvo wagon, actually 2 Volvo wagons influence in it. So, interesting choices. But anyways, it's a rear-engined, low-power, turbocharged car. Which is fun, right? Those are fun cars. But it's also really lightweight. Doesn't have the best traction. I mean, it does okay on streets, but it will spin out on you. But here in the dirt, it's a little bit torquey, even though it doesn't have a lot of high-end power. And that causes the wheels to just want to spin non-stop every time that I get on the power as we climb up. And you see that expressed by the fact that the back end is just constantly wanting to step out with every little thing. That's just because those tiny little wheels just really couldn't keep up with the amount of power that the car can put down in the low end band. So it struggled a bit, and it can slide around and want to get way out of whack. Also, being lightweight, it's getting bounced around quite a bit. I know it looks like I was drunk when I was driving this thing, but it's really just a combination of the back end sliding out on me and the car bouncing around. That's really all it comes down to. Which is weird because this is a great car to race on. If ever you've done the Rockstar Verified Swedish folk races, is one of 2 cars that you can use if you don't have an upgraded sedan. And it does really well around that dirt track. Making a really big struggle for this final push up the side here. And the Warrener is up 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Will it off-road? Yeah, despite some problems, it'll still do it. Very dirty. That white paint shows every bit of dirt. One of the things that I really love about the Warrener is something that we really don't get to see a whole lot since we're watching from the back end. But it has got to be the car that has the biggest crew emblem. And I absolutely love that, which is why I went with a white and Vainglorious blue paint job. So I have that Vainglorious crew logo on there. By the way, Vainglorious Gaming is not just the name of my YouTube channel. It's also the name of the GTA Online crew, the Vainglorious. It actually came before the channel did. And it's kind of the reason why I started the YouTube channel. Long story. But you can see once again as we begin our controlled descent to see how it handles in a controlled manner going back down the mountain. Once again, it is getting bounced around quite a bit. And now I have to deal with the fact that it has only adequate brakes. They're okay, but they're not the best. So it is struggling a little bit to shave off some of the speed, which makes for a bit of a sloppy controlled descent. Pardon me as I just took a drink of water there because, well, I don't feel well today, so I need lots and lots and lots of water. It's always fun making videos and you don't feel well because your voice is just like, no, I refuse to cooperate. Your body's just like, go to bed. But your brain's like, but YouTube videos. Oh, got a hiker with the acid. That was awesome. That looked really cool. So, yeah, just bouncing around. I mean, it's something that can't be controlled. It is a car that you can get back under control fairly easily, which is what makes it so good in Swedish Folk Race, is you can do that Scandinavian flick with it to get around a lot of corners without it really losing too much in the way of composure. As you can see right there, beautiful, beautiful around that bank turn. So it really is well composed. It just going uphill wants to spin its tires a bit too much. Coming down the last final major downhill section. Up onto the final bit of dirt where the trail is barely visible. Past the tree of many crashes, managed to avoid it without incident once again, though there is a car coming up soon that has a major disagreement with that tree. And we are back down on the asphalt, coming around the last little twisty bits here for what is going to be a spectacular finish across the line. One of the best that we've seen in a while. Get a little bit against that barrier. Kind of spun me out. And backwards at 2 minutes, 40 seconds for our controlled descent. So it's time to take the Warrener back to the top of Mount Chiliad. Throw it off the side and see how much damage it can withstand. This is a DLC car, so it doesn't have the best damage physics. I say that a lot because it happens a lot. And, well, it's just part of the characteristic of what Rockstar is doing now. They're so focused on adding content to the game, I think, to drive those shark card sales, that they kind of forget some of the smaller things that made GTA so wonderful in the first place. If you haven't checked it out, I'm currently playing through GTA 3 in my Looking Back series. And while the damage in that game it may be a little too severe, I mean, like a few major collisions, the car's on fire, at least a game that was 16 years old does better at rendering damage than their latest game that's only, what, 4 years old. So, kind of sad there, Rockstar. Get your shit together. Coming here into the bumpy, muddy bits where lightweight cars tend to struggle a lot because they get bounced all around. No exception for the Warrener. It started to spin around. Though it is a bit more composed than most. I mean, you can see it tends to fly over most of those bumps all right. So, good on the Warrener for that. Up around the log pile. And we are down in our damage descent in 1 minute, 34 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage. It is missing one taillight, one window, the trunk lid is gone, and the doors and the hood won't close. And that's it. It's a tough little car. And that brings us to our next vehicle. The HVY Ripley. And if you look towards the top right corner of your screen, you'll notice that it says Director Mode. That's because this car does not spawn, or this truck does not spawn in GTA Online. Excuse me, more water. It is, however, the first most voted for vehicle this week, coming in with a whopping 30 votes. I think the same person voted for it 30 times, which is totally fine. If there's something that you want to see in Wheel It Off-Road, and you want to make sure it gets featured, well, all you got to do is hit up that link and vote over and over and over and over again. All of the cars that I currently own that have not yet been tested are listed on that form. It's a pretty long list because I own like 220 some odd cars between my two characters. But if you scroll to the very, very, very bottom, there's a section where you can write in any vehicle you want to see, and that's where the Ripley came from. This is an airport type vehicle. It's a pushback truck. It is all it is. The big truck you see that pushes back the big 747s and such. from the gates so that they can taxi on out to the runways. As such, that means it has a ton of low-end grunt, because it would have to push a jet. And that's about all it has going for it. It doesn't have any speed whatsoever. Its gearing is terrible. As you can hear just a second ago, it shifted up into a higher gear, and that nearly kept it from being able to get up where most vehicles don't even struggle. And once again, we run into some problems this time because it's got that huge overhang. This is one of the few cars where the front wheels are actually behind the driver in GTA, and in this one, they are way behind the driver. I mean, look at that massive amount of just real estate of a cab that is right there. I mean, that would qualify as a nice loft apartment in some big cities. And yet I'm trying to get it with the wheels in front of it, or behind it, sorry, trying to get it up Mount Chiliad. And it causes a lot of problems. Sorry that you heard my phone go off just then. Forgot once again to silence my phone. Professional YouTuber at work, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, professional YouTuber that makes no money off of it. So we need a little bit of speed here. God, we've already lost the windshield. When did that happen? I wasn't even paying attention. Need some speed, so I backed all the way up because I don't think there's any other way I'm going to get that front end to bounce up and over this one section, plus keep the thing even moving forward. I also wanted to get some speed going so that hopefully it would stay in a better gear. Has massive wheels, so it should get good traction, and you know, it does for the most part. But again, this thing is all low-end gearing, which means that once the stuff underneath the tires gets loose, the wheels are going to spin. So I'm going to try it again if I don't get myself high-centered here, which I do manage to do for just a second. But thanks to GTA physics, you can just wobble, 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 and get it right out of there. With a bit more water for my alien voice, trying yet another big push here. That little dip right there is what's really hurting the Ripley. But it's getting a little bit higher than it previously has. But those back wheels just spinning are a huge problem. Not only because it slows the thing down, but because the back end wants to try to step out, and that was it. That's all it could muster. It just couldn't keep the grip high enough so that it could keep moving forward. Now I'm slowly sliding backwards. I was trying to avoid going over that little lip. Wound up going over it anyway. Just trying to get this thing all the way up into a power band that I can use. And it's just a struggle. I can't remember the last time we saw a vehicle struggle this bad. Maybe the Dash Hound? I think this is no, the Dash Hound even made it farther than this. Trying to think, what other vehicles have we had that haven't even gotten this far? Oh man, because the back wheels were spinning, I couldn't get the thing pointed in the right direction, and now we're just sliding down the hill to take out the last remaining window. Or windows. This thing does have a really cool first-person view, though. I did mess around with it a little bit. And there's just pretty much nothing in your view, except a little bit of the steering wheel and a little bit of windshield wiper. It's really cool. It's a really neat experience. So, if you're playing single player and head over to the airport and want to just experience a neat first-person view, well, here you go. And this thing's pretty useless. Otherwise, you can't tow trailers or anything like that. So all of that low-end grunt really doesn't account for much. And you're not going to get anywhere in a big hurry with this thing. So since we slid all the way down, I now have to bring it back up through ground that we've already covered. And just look at it crawl forward. Hey, we have 3 deer here this time. It's not often that we're going slow enough I can count the deer in director mode. But I use director mode instead of just straight up story mode for these because it makes it, I can turn wanted levels off, so when I need to go steal a car, I'm not going to have to deal with a wanted level and have it get all damaged before I go test it. Plus, a great thing about direct mode that a lot of people don't know is if you get in a vehicle and then pause the game, ooh, hiker down. It pause the game and then select a waypoint, then through the interaction menu, you can teleport to that waypoint. That way I don't have to drive these big slow vehicles all the way across the map just to get them up here for what off-road. Plus I can choose the time of day, so it just stays at daytime, which is perfect for recording these. The hiker lived, and he wants to fight, and given as slow as this thing is, well, you know what? He's going to get Vainglorious. There we go. That's what happens when you fuck with the Vainglorious. We curb stomp your ass and then honk at you. So, gonna try just a couple last-ditch efforts here. Though the dead hiker is now a problem as well. As you can see, the entire truck just kicked up over him, and now we're doing burnouts on his body. So, because of that, it's not looking good for the Ripley. I mean, it's not really looking good at all. Gonna try another big push here. Just trying to see, but will it off-road? It won't. It just won't. It's got too much low-end power, too much weight to go up anything this steep and dirt. Might be able to do it if it was in pavement, but I did wind up making one last push with this truck just to see if I could do it, but it never gets any farther. Which means in a second, it is going to meet the same fate that every DNF vehicle meets in Will It Off-Road. And while we're watching that, guys, don't forget to submit the votes for the videos, or for the cars that you want to see in the Will It Off-Road videos by clicking on the link in the description down below. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.